Previously on TV Sins.
What is it you want to say to me?
You know what you look like? Squeezed dick. Got a little blue vein running up the side of your head. See, that's where I put the bullet. But I'd have to stand back because you look like you'd be a squirter.
Several of these envelopes slip past quality control and remain unsealed. Sure, I could sin that nobody caught it, or I could sin that it will be lost in the mail. But no, I'm sinning Phoebes here because she is clearly so dehydrated that she ran out of saliva. This is the most dangerous envelope-licking development since we lost Susan.
Rich, did you proofread these?
Yeah, why?
Nothing. I'm sure they'll be impressed with your excellent computer skills.
Asshole. There are like 15 of you here, and no one caught this before you started stuffing? It's only one goddamn page. Also, why the is Ross being such a dick here? No wonder it takes him so long to get on the will they side of the Ross-Rachel paradigm.
Do you think it's on all of them?
Oh, no, I'm sure the Xerox machine caught a few.
Setting the outdated joke aside, is this really a Joey line? He's the dumb one, right? I know the writers probably want to spread the jokes around, but that should have been a Chandler line, and I'm not taking second opinions. What kind of dance is David Schwimmer going with here? I know, this show is so revered now that this moment is just accepted, but I'm not letting this guy off the hook without an explanation for this slow-mo fist pump bull during a massively up-tempo theme song. And speaking of problems with the opening credits, what's going on with Courtney Cox shutting down the power to an entire city block when she turns off the lamp here? This was March of 1995, man! And someone was just watching the O'Bannon brothers dominate for UCLA before this completely preventable power failure occurred.
Lots of responses. Sure, we have scones left.
Come the hell on with this ruse. Like, Rachel's never around with her friends during a shift at Central Perk.
Dear Ms. Green, thank you for your inquiry. However,
no.
So Rachel got all these responses, and all of them are no's? All the companies took the time to write and mail a letter to someone who's blindly applying for entry-level work? Don't get me wrong, that's very polite, but it's also very preposterous.
Wow, what? Your visa bill is huge.
Visa envy. I can hear my mother now. Get those dirty feet off that chair. Someone has to sit there. Of course, we would then get into an argument about the relative cleanliness of butts versus feet, so basically this sin is from my mother. Also, I'm upset that we never got the episode where Gunther had to close down Central Perk for good, because no one else would ever come here because of, and I quote, those sick people who talk way too loud about all the bull in their lives.
Do any of you know how to play?
No. But you could teach us?
No.
Okay, look, sitcoms got a sitcom and all, but there is no way those guys could have delivered that synchronized no without at least glancing at each other first to clue each other in on the joke. As if it doesn't strain reality enough on TV that everyone immediately has a witty answer to everything, we're adding mind reading to the mix.
Okay, I just need two. The 10 of spades and the 6 of clubs.
Why would anyone ever need two specific cards of different suits? If she already had the other three, she might know the suit, but she can't have the other three of both. And sure, the show is asking us to believe that girls are idiots when it comes to poker, but shouldn't we at least know why Phoebe thinks she needs these specific cards?
You can't.
Oh wait, I have the 10 of spades.
I'm not sure when this episode will be done with the aren't girls the stupidest at poker shtick, but I'm pretty sure Rachel would know the difference between a spade and a heart.
Phoebe just threw away 2 jacks because they didn't look happy.
How do you know this? We've been here for this entire conversation, and she hasn't said jack about any jack.
We gotta settle.
Settle what?
The Jamestown colony of Virginia. You see, King George is giving us the land.
Sure, George III was king during the American Revolution, but Jamestown was actually settled way before that. In fact, the king that gave the land for Jamestown was, are you ready, King James.
Oh, did you get that from the I Love Rachel Pizzeria?
You still on that?
Yes, he is, and so is the show, but only for another, checks notes, 218 episodes! Little known fact, the Wachowskis were huge fans of Friends, and this poster inspired them to make their Speed Racer movie. And that's for the sin for the movie, and another 4 for the revisionist historians who think it's any good.
I might have had feelings for her at one time. Not anymore.
The writers were like, people are probably getting tired of the tension we're building with the Ross and Rachel love interest, but we have a solution.
You are not putting that on again.
The f***ing monkey.
Hello, Kettle. This is Monica. You're black.
That's racist.
Let me tell you something. Everything you hear at a poker game is pure crap.
Yeah, that checks out, but this little lesson will have very little payoff in this episode, since aside from some Rachel luck, the girls will continue to play completely lousy poker.
You know, I think I'm gonna give it a go.
All right.
Obvious trick cards are obvious. Also, this shuffle is about as intimidating as a litter of puppies rolling around in a basket of multicolored feathers. The first answer is yes, people did wear dress shirts over patterned sweaters in the 90s. And the second answer is yes, it was just as much of a sin then as it is now.
Well, I'm gonna order a pizza.
No, I'm still waiting to hear from that job, and the store closes at 9, so you can eat then.
Or you can walk across the hall to your own apartment and order a pizza. Setting aside the serious gourmet she whips up. How the hell does Monica cook anything in this kitchen? There's no prep space. And don't tell me it's because there's no counter room. She's got all this equipment in large containers sitting right there, where she could be chopping. I've seen dorm rooms that have larger mise en place.
All right, Cincinnati, no blinds, everybody in.
All right, Monica, let's say you actually want to play Cincinnati, even though it hasn't been popular since, well, ever. Why are you dealing everyone 2 cards down and 1 card up? Generally, that kind of deal would be a stud-type game, unlike Cincinnati, which is more similar to Omaha, in that it uses 4 cards to each player and 4 community cards to make your best hand. Beer.
I'm in.
Well, you better hop out of the shower, because I got a flush.
Hop back in, bucko, because I got 4 sixes!
You had 4 of a kind in a 5-card game and you didn't raise? This overhead shot clearly shows everyone evenly spaced out around the table, but when it cuts back to the normal view, it's clear that there's a gap between Chandler and Phoebe for shooting reasons. That's what you get for trying to be all fancy network sitcom. Stay in your lane.
I will see you, and I'll raise you.
String bets. Oh, and this will happen several more times, so let's just see that sin and raise it 9 more for good measure.
Come on, show them to me.
No.
Show them to me.
Let me see.
Out there,
Show them.
no.
You know, I've had dates like this.
Ah, yes, the 90s, when sexual misconduct was hilarious.
Well, I just lost a job, and I'd like to raise the bet $5. Does anybody have a problem with that?
Well, since you asked, yes. I could go into yet another diatribe about sticking to the poker rules of the house, but instead I'll point out that Rachel can't lose a job she never had.
I saw your 25, and I raise you 17.
Joey, I'm a little shy.
So wait, after an entire evening of poker, you both somehow had the exact same amount of chips and had to bring out cash at the exact same time? I know this is becoming the one about the poker sins, but Friends has completely taken the crown from Casino Royale as the worst representation of poker on camera in the history of poker, and we were made for this.
Look how happy she is.
The thing that has always bothered me about this show was how they'd pretend that they couldn't hear each other at convenient times while in the same apartment. They're what, 6 feet away? Having said that, this is why the show freaking ruled. The beauty of Ross's love followed directly by the joke of them realizing what happened. This show may not get poker, but it gets relationships, and this moment alone is strong enough to force me to fold a few back.
Whatever happened to predictability?
Licking envelopes can be fun. All you have to do is make a game of it.
Hi, ladies.
Hi, Colin. Yeah, hi.
Hey, Phoebes, how many do you want?
Okay, I just need 2.
8 of spades. 2 spades. Jack of diamonds. Jack of clubs.
High stakes, big bucks.
No whammy, stop!
Damn it, damn it, damn it.
Damn it, son of a bitch. Damn it, son of a bitch.
We want a rematch.
Well, that's fine with me. Could use the money.
Well, the jerk store called. They're running out of you.
Don't expect me to be a nice guy.
No more Mr. Nice Duck.
Don't splash the pot.